Hey guys, it's Yozora, and today we are looking at the Tokashi, the new Japanese Tier 7 premium light cruiser. And, well, let's first talk about the way you can obtain this ship. So, with update 0.11.10, Wargaming are bringing us a Battle Pass. Now, technically, we already had a Battle Pass with the Dolphin events, but now we are getting an official version, so to say. So this battle pass, you have three different options. The first being a free version, then you have the premium, and then the premium plus seasonal bonuses, I think it's called, which is basically the premium battle pass, but you get some extra rewards as well as some in-game bonuses, like for example, well, you can demand upgrades for free, which, well, that's pretty nice to be honest. Now, would it be worth? On PTS, it was 6.250 doubloons. So, would it be worth that much? Not quite sure. Though you also get some extra doubloons and steel, so might be worth considering. As for the way the battle pass is working, well, it's not like with the Dorkard events when you had pretty nasty missions at the on the last sections. Here it's really pure XP farming as well as getting wins. Oh yeah, that battle pass, it's basically farming itself quite easily. Now, for Tokashi herself, well, she will be the final reward of the premium battle pass. So I think it's the um, the 50th reward. And now, well, it's worth wondering if she is anything worth going for that premium battle pass. Now, it isn't particularly expensive on the PTS, it was 2,500 doubloons. So if the price stays the same and you have some extra doubloons to use, yeah, why not? But for the ship itself, eh, isn't exactly noteworthy. So essentially, it's a Japanese Atlanta. Kinda. As in, just like the Atlanta, you will generally prefer to hug islands and spam a cheat on range on whatever target you will find. But she has her own little particularities. I definitely cannot call them gimmicks because she is a fairly vanilla cruiser. I mean, sure, you have the torpedo reload booster for the torpedoes, but outside of that, nothing exactly outstanding. Now, compared to Atlanta, when looking at the damage output, she is definitely inferior. She doesn't get the destroyer dispersion, the DPM, it's about two-thirds of what you can achieve with Atlanta, but at least she has about the same fire starting capacity. It's like it's a tiny bit inferior, as in with no upgrade, no captain skill, whatever. It's for Atlanta 10 fires per minute compared to 9.62 fires per minute with the Tokashi. So generally speaking, you will not really notice the difference. As for the rest, well, at least Tokashi gets much better ballistics, which is pretty nice, because with her you can still engage targets quite comfortably, even destroyers at maximum range. Whereas with the Atlanta, well, you did rely quite a lot to just spamming a ton of shells to at some point find a proper lead. whereas with the Tokashi it will be a whole lot easier. What else? Well, the Tokashi has also a very nice quirk, as in all of our turrets can rotate at 360 degrees, which is quite enjoyable, because as I was saying, sure, just like the Atlanta, she can just hug islands and stay safe, but she is also doing fairly well in open water. So if these turrets being able to, being able to turn at 360 degrees, well, she can perfectly angle and wiggle around however she wants, and you will still have all gun on targets. So yeah, that's always a nice advantage to have. Also, so as I was saying, she can do open water fairly well, and there is another reason for that. So for those with pretty good eyes, you might have noticed that she's using the same hull as the Furutaka, our beloved tier 5 Silk Leather, and that comes with the armor as well. So just like the Atlanta, she has a 48mm deck armor, which is quite substantial, because that means it will shatter HE, it will bounce AP shells from battleships, and that gives her that fairly substantial survivability advantage. With Atlanta, she has no armor, to be honest. Whereas with the Tokashi, yeah, you can. I won't say that you can tank shots, but you will still be able to receive a lot more punishment than American counterpart. Also, unlike the Atlanta, she can still get a captain with an improved survivability expert, which will, well, it's not that much HP that you gain with it, but still pretty nice to have. If you are whereas with the Atlanta, if you didn't get Ovechkin back in the days, well, I won't say that you are screwed, but you are lacking that little extra HP. Also, unlike the Atlanta, which is just like most US cruisers, rather slow, Tokashi is quite a nimble and fast ship. She does still, though, lose quite a lot of speed when turning for whatever reason. But overall, yeah, she has a tight running radius and a high speed, meaning that you can dodge shots quite easily. Of course, if you are relatively angled, then some shells from battleships end up hitting you. Well, chances are that you are getting chunked pretty hard, because, well, it's still a tier 5 hull, so beside the 48mm deck armor, well, she's still pretty damn squishy. The Citadel itself, it's 76mm of main belt, so definitely nothing that will stop battleship or even cruiser AP. Although, when full broadside, you have a bit of a Smolensk effect. You know, she's so narrow that when she's flat broadside, that's medium / close range, well, AP shots on battleships will just go straight through. And even at close range, it's also the case for cruisers. Like, for example, at some point during a game, I ended up coming face to face with a York that was completely outsplayed the whole game, and all of a sudden he pops in my face at something like 5 kilometers around an island. But initially I thought it was a bit of a brown alert, and then I get just I was flat broadside at this point, but all three first salvos were just full over pants. So I was able to, let's say, even the odds. Now, I won't say that you should rely on it too much, because it's always a bit of a gamble. You know, you just need bells to land on the water just in front of the ship, and because of that, they will still be likely to actually hit and penetrate the citadel. So, yeah, don't go too hard on this. Now, besides the firepower and the survivability, the Tokashi, well, she's a Japanese cruiser, and that means that she's getting pretty good torpedoes, unlike the whole damn Japanese like cruiser line. Yeah, she's getting actually usable and reliable torpedoes. Now, it is only 3 per side, technically 6 when you're using the torpedo reload booster, but at least these torpedoes have proper reaction time. On the top of my head, with the base characteristics, it's at 8.5 seconds of reaction time, which is pretty usable, to be honest. It's not the 11 or even 10.5 seconds of the light cruiser line. Also, the torpedoes are doing pretty good damage for this tier. It's a bit more than 70,000 damage per hit. And also they are very fast at 70 knots, which is very nice. So, yeah, while she's losing main battery damage output compared to the Atlanta, she is actually getting some fairly nice torpedo armaments. Especially considering that you have 12 kilometers of range compared to Atlanta, which is what, 4.5 kilometers? Useless pretty much all the time unless you have some, you are rushing something or alternatively something is rushing you. So yeah, it's, I would say, still weaker than Atlanta, especially since you don't have a radar. But at least she has her own little thing to make her somewhat relevant. Just one thing that I need to mention, since I was talking about the armor earlier. Just like the rest of the Japanese light cruisers, her turrets are still very fragile. I think it's 13 millimeters of armor, which is, to be honest, it was to be expected since you are using destroyer's turrets. So yeah, they will be still incapacitated quite easily, but at least they are not gigantic like the turrets of the Yodo, the Shimanto, or the Takashi. As for the N tier, well, you know, it's a Japanese ship and it's also a mid-tier cruiser, so yeah, don't think you'll be shooting a lot of planes with this ship. The long range, I would say, somewhat decent-ish for the standards of a tier 7, but then you have basically no mid-range or short range. You do have a fighter console, but, well, you know, fighters fighters in World of Warships. Imagine expecting them to shoot down planes. No, well, okay. To be honest, now the Super carriers fighters are actually good, but for the rest, yeah, the decorations more than anything else. So yeah, as a whole, Tokashi, not outstanding by any means, but still, it's all right. Let's put it this way, it's all right. It's already way better than the Japanese like Cruise Line, but it's not crazy good. Anyway, that's all for me, guys.